Karen belittled a Haitian man. He donated $100,000 to a fire department. The annual Willow Creek Charity Gala was in full swing. The opulent ballroom glittered with crystal chandeliers, shimmering gowns, and the polished smiles of the town's elite. Karen, a vision in emerald green, navigated the crowd with practiced ease. She was a longtime resident of Willow Creek, a former HOA president, and a self-appointed arbiter of taste and social standing. She moved through the world with an air of entitlement, her words often laced with a subtle condescension that only those accustomed to privilege could master. Tonight, the charity was raising funds for the Willow Creek Fire Department, a cause Karen supported in theory. It was, after all, important to maintain the town's image of safety and security, but her interest was more performative than heartfelt. She wrote a generous check, of course, ensuring her name would be prominently listed in the event program. As the evening progressed, a distinguished-looking man took the stage. He was black, with a quiet dignity and an air of self-made success. He spoke with a slight accent, one that Karen vaguely recognized but couldn't quite place. He introduced himself as Jean-Pierre Dubois, a local businessman and entrepreneur. Jean-Pierre's speech was passionate and moving. He spoke of his journey to Willow Creek, his struggles and triumphs, and his deep gratitude for the opportunities this town had afforded him. He emphasized the importance of community, the sacrifices made by the fire department, and the need for updated equipment to ensure their safety and effectiveness. Karen listened with a polite but detached expression. She had heard such stories before, tales of overcoming adversity, of achieving the American dream. They were inspiring, she supposed, but they didn't really resonate with her world of inherited wealth and effortless privilege. After the speech, the fundraising began. Eleanor, the gala's organizer, announced that a matching donation had been pledged. For every dollar raised, an anonymous donor would match it up to $100,000. The crowd buzzed with excitement. Karen, however, remained unimpressed. She leaned over to her companion, a woman named Brenda, and whispered, her voice carrying a note of disdain. $100,000? That's a lot of money for a... What did he say he was? A businessman? I doubt someone like him truly understands the value of that kind of contribution. Brenda, ever eager to agree with Karen, nodded. I know what you mean, she said, her eyes scanning the room. It's probably just a tax write-off for him. He probably doesn't even know where that money really comes from. Karen chuckled, a short, sharp sound that conveyed her superiority. Exactly, she said. It's the established families, the pillars of this community, who truly understand the importance of supporting our institutions. Meanwhile, Jean-Pierre was quietly making his way through the crowd, shaking hands and chatting with people. He approached Karen and Brenda, his expression warm and friendly. Ladies, he said, his voice a rich baritone, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Jean-Pierre Dubois. Karen forced a smile, her eyes assessing him. She noted his expensive suit, his impeccable grooming, but she couldn't quite reconcile his polished appearance with her preconceived notions of who he should be. Karen Mitchell, she replied, extending a manicured hand. And this is Brenda. A pleasure, Jean-Pierre repeated. I was just so moved by the firefighters' dedication. They risk their lives for us every day. I wanted to do my part to show my appreciation. That's commendable, Karen said, her tone carefully neutral. It's important to support our community services. Indeed, Jean-Pierre agreed. I believe in giving back to the community that has given me so much. He paused, then added, I understand you're a significant donor to the foundation, Miss Mitchell. Your support is truly valued. I do what I can, Karen said, her smile widening slightly. She enjoyed being recognized for her philanthropy. It reinforced her sense of importance. That's wonderful, Jean-Pierre said. Every contribution makes a difference. I hope you'll consider increasing your support tonight, given the matching donation. Karen hesitated. She had already written her check, and besides, she wasn't sure she wanted her donation to be associated with his. I'll consider it, she said, her tone non-committal. But I have already made a substantial contribution. Of course, Jean-Pierre said, his smile unwavering. Every amount helps. Thank you for your generosity. He moved on, leaving Karen and Brenda alone. Brenda turned to Karen, her eyes wide with curiosity. He seems nice, she said, and very successful. Appearances can be deceiving, Karen replied, her voice dismissive. He probably just wants to impress us with his money. It's a common tactic for people like him. Brenda frowned slightly. People like him, she asked. What do you mean? Karen realized she had said too much. She backtracked quickly. I just meant new money, she said, her tone smooth. It's different from old family wealth, you know. There's a certain finesse that comes with generations of privilege. Brenda nodded, though she still seemed a bit uncomfortable. The exchange had left a slightly sour taste in the air. The evening continued, the fundraising efforts gaining momentum. Eleanor announced that they were nearing the $100,000 goal, and the crowd erupted in applause. Then Jean-Pierre took the stage again. Friends, he said, his voice filled with emotion, I have been so moved by your generosity tonight. I am proud to be a part of this community, a community that values its firefighters so much. To show my commitment, I am pleased to announce that I will be donating the full matching amount, $100,000. A collective gasp filled the ballroom. People stared in stunned silence, then erupted in thunderous applause. $100,000. It was an extraordinary sum, a testament to Jean-Pierre's wealth and his generosity. Eleanor rushed to the stage, her face beaming. Mr. Dubois, she exclaimed, her voice choked with emotion. This is incredible. Thank you. Thank you so much. Your generosity will make a tremendous difference to our fire department. Jean-Pierre smiled humbly. It's my pleasure, Eleanor, he said. It's the least I can do. Karen stood frozen, her face a mask of shock and disbelief. $100,000. From him, the man she had dismissed as a showy newcomer, a man who didn't truly understand the value of a contribution? She felt a wave of nausea wash over her. She had been so wrong, so utterly, completely wrong. She had judged him based on her own prejudices, her own narrow-minded assumptions about his background and his place in society. And she had been exposed, publicly and spectacularly, as a fool. The irony was almost unbearable. The money she had hesitated to donate, the money she had considered too much for someone like him to truly appreciate, was now dwarfed by his own extraordinary generosity. The rest of the evening was a blur for Karen. She mumbled polite congratulations to Jean-Pierre, her words hollow and insincere. She avoided eye contact with Brenda, who seemed both embarrassed and fascinated by the turn of events. She wanted nothing more than to disappear, to escape the humiliation of her own making. In the days that followed, the town buzzed with admiration for Jean-Pierre. His donation was hailed as a selfless act of philanthropy, a testament to his commitment to the community. The fire department announced that they would use the funds to purchase state-of-the-art equipment, ensuring the safety of their firefighters and the protection of the town. Karen, however, retreated into her carefully constructed world of privilege, nursing her wounded pride and grappling with the unwelcome realization that she was not as infallible as she had always believed. The incident forced her to confront her own prejudices, the subtle biases that had shaped her perceptions and her interactions with others. She began to question her assumptions about people who were different from her, people who had different backgrounds, different accents, different life experiences. It was a slow and painful process, but gradually Karen began to change. She started to volunteer at a local community center, working alongside people from all walks of life. She listened to their stories, learned about their struggles, and began to understand the depth of her own ignorance. She also sought therapy, grappling with the underlying insecurities and fears that had fueled her need to judge and dismiss others. She realized that her arrogance was nothing more than a fragile defense mechanism, a way to protect herself from her own vulnerability. Years later, Karen was a different woman. She was still wealthy, still privileged, but she was no longer defined by her wealth or her privilege. She was defined by her humility, her empathy, and her unwavering commitment to fighting against prejudice and inequality. She became a vocal advocate for diversity and inclusion, using her resources and her influence to support organizations that promoted understanding and respect. She even established a foundation to provide scholarships for immigrants and refugees, helping them to build new lives in her community. And she never forgot Jean-Pierre Dubois, the man she had once belittled, the man who had taught her a profound and unforgettable lesson about the true meaning of generosity and the enduring power of the human spirit.